priorities into action. And we have a special treat for you guys today. We have a didactic presenter from our team who is going to kind of frame up some tips for you. And then we have some panel speakers from Cohort 1 that are going to be able to give you their perspective as well. So our didactic presenter from Basque is Karen. She's our program manager for data and implementation. So she's going to set up some tips and tricks for you all. And then we have Lakia Drayton from Charleston County Schools and Dr. Tara Bacote from Dutchman Creek Middle School to share their perspectives as well. So I'll toss it over to Karen.
Thank you. So we hope that by the end of this didactic that you will know where to look in your Basque resources to support some implementation planning. We have developed a little three-step process to help you with planning, particularly focused around the professional learning and the teaching your staff, and then that you feel confident in moving forward at your unique pace because we know everybody is going to be in a different place. So our little three-step process that we have, now this is focusing on the redelivery and the PL for your staff. We know there's a lot of things that you're doing in your action steps, but my focus is going to be around that because we heard from a lot of you that that was an issue that you were trying to struggle with. So step one would be to consider your PL opportunities. We'll go into this in more detail. The step two would be then to review and prioritize those PL elements that you may need to deliver, and then to match the content with those opportunities. So we'll go into that just a little bit. So when you think about what are the opportunities for delivering, conveying, learning to the rest of your staff, what already exists? So I've listed some things that may exist, but you know what exists, or maybe you don't, and maybe you need to explore the opportunities that exist. And also in terms of, does it need to be a face-to-face, or is it something that could be communicated in another format, email, newsletter, or modules? And then we want you to be encouraged to really think about and dream, what's the ideal? So if you can't think it, you can't get there. So dream big, like, oh, in a perfect world, I would get a full extra day before the school year starts or 4 2-hour sessions throughout the year. So go ahead and think big and then try to figure out how to get to those places. So you can get creative. So maybe you just hijack standing meetings for a little bit of time. Maybe you do a PD warm up at all your meetings or a little short PD at everything. It becomes part of your routine. Or how can you compensate for needing extra staff time? So, who can you connect with in your district that might be able to help you get creative or know how to reach those ideals? So, considering opportunities and then reviewing and prioritizing the needs. So, I'm going to start with reviewing the list. So, the school workbooks that you received on day 1 and 2, and you'll get another one on day 3, have listed topics, content, estimated times, and then you also have a slide deck. So if you go to the next slide, I've built in a visual. So these were the slide decks that you got on day 1 and day 2 in your workbooks. And they list different topics and the resource and then approximately how much time. So what I wanted to emphasize is that the order that's on these breakdowns is not the order, right? It's an order. It's just a way to convey the list of things that you would likely need to deliver. Also, the estimated time is just that. It's an estimated time. So I would like for you to look at these as tools. Also, the slide deck comes, as slides do, in a particular order. The order that the slides are in the slide deck is not the order that you need to deliver them. So remember that as you're thinking about all the tasks ahead of you. And then you'll obviously need to prioritize. So some ways to approach prioritizing would be an impact filter. Which of these things is going to move our needle, is going to improve our practice the most and have the greatest impact? And let's spend more time on those things. Or maybe you use a stoplight prioritization. Which things must we do? Should we do? Would be nice to do. So thinking through those lists in the workbook with that lens, but also remembering that our goal for you is that your implementation kickoff for this will be next fall. So from that, thinking about being ready next fall, all your staff understanding your content, your layout, your plans are ready to go, backwards planning with that goal in mind. Okay. Oh, so this is just an example that in that one school workbook, it starts if you look at it sequentially on the page, it goes from the why to behavior shaping to teaching the matrix. In all likelihood, thinking about priority, you're gonna go to teaching the matrix before you do behavior shaping practices. So this is just to illustrate to you that these are just a list of things. They aren't in a particular order that you need to follow. Okay, I think you can go on. So what we have a couple of examples. So then the step three is you match your content opportunities to the content that you want to deliver. And so this is just an example of a way to do that. So maybe I look at my monthly meetings. I'm going to use 15 minutes at each of those, and I've matched the content to those 15-minute segments. I know I'm going to have a PL day with 2 hours in March. I'm going to use these segments of content during that day, and so on. So, thinking about your opportunities to deliver or carry out the PL and with the content that you want to deliver that you have prioritized. But remember, this example is just an example. You need to think about your opportunities, the content that you prioritize when you're developing your plan. We have an example from your cohort, and they have taken, if you hit it again, there's a animation. So they have split up some of the slides, not all the slides, because these slides aren't these slides, you pick, and divided them up by monthly meeting. So um, they've got each meeting segmented out which things they wanted to convey. Now, probably what you've all been waiting for are cohort one perspectives, and we're very happy to have some friends with us today and look forward to hearing what they have to say about how they helped or noticed and worked through this getting it all done. So, Lakia, welcome.
Sorry, I had to search for my audio button. Hello, hello, beautiful people.
Hello.
We hear you.
I'm
Look here.
okay. I'm sorry. I didn't hear your question though. I just heard my
Oh,
name.
no, we're just turning it over to you to hear kind of from your perspective how your schools in Charleston who have gone through in cohort one the professional learning were approached putting it all together and getting it done because we know that it happens at different paces with different
Yeah,
schools and there isn't any one way. So rather than feeling inadequate or like they're not accomplishing the
got it.
goal, give them a little bit of your perspective.
Yeah, so we've experienced a lot of changes within CCSD from superintendency to principalship to teachers to teams, full teams changing. And so we have been really intentional about not rushing the work because schools, and they're also adopting new initiatives at the same time of this vast work. We are a district that have been prioritizing restorative practices, and that's anchored in we do things with each other, not to and for to get the outcomes that we want for our students. And with leadership and staff changes happening, we knew we needed to slow things down and focus on getting the basics right. So every school, although we're in phase three of launching, every school within stage 3 as at a different point because of leadership and staff changing, meaning there's one school that is focused and we have to redo professional learning because there was a high level of turnover and we want to make sure that we're doing things with fidelity. So we took a phased approach, starting with shared understanding of what MTSS B Tier 1 is. And what's helpful is that this year there's many more self-paced modules. And through my guidance, I told our new team to anchor to that to kind of get them that background and that foundational knowledge that was the priority of the of phase 2. And so that was very helpful with implementation or just calibration. Instead of packing everything into the few trainings, like last year we did like three trainings, full days trainings. Our teachers now, because that time and funding was set aside last year for that, we didn't have the flexibility to do the same this year. And so they've been in deep conversation with me and my partner, Miss Rochelle, who's not here today, and we've been kind of reintroducing them and reinforcing the information that they received from the online module. So there has been a pull from me as the district behavior coordinator, not so much on the day-to-day things, but to ensure that we are creating that foundation so that we could eventually back off. So it's more work right now with the idea that they will be able to fly and soar eventually. We have utilized our PLCs, which is a district-wide priority. I think Karen talked about hijacking the first 5 minutes. That has worked tremendously, and we've been prioritizing using the behavior data, using the practice inventory data to identify things that we need to highlight. We've utilized newsletters as well that's delivered weekly to highlight certain strategies that teachers should be implementing. And some of the things that drove our timeline decisions was, again, capacity was a big one. We don't want folks to feel like this is just one more thing, or like Crystal liked to say, a hoot. I didn't say it with the same tone as she does, but we don't want them to think this is just a checkbox, right? So again, between turnovers, new initiatives, and those day-to-day demands, we were mindful of that. And we want them to live it and breathe it. So it's easier to do that when it's bite-sized. What helped us stay focused during this time, let me see. Oh, I got 16 seconds. Hold on. What helped us with remaining focused is, again, anchoring to the tools that BAS provide. It's a great way that we can shift some things that's working with our current initiatives and what's going on. Using a small set of tier 1 priorities, using that data and feedback to guide the next steps. I take temperature checks. I end every meeting or every school-based coordinator meeting is like, how are you feeling right now? What do you think you're ready for out of the list of things that's to do? What do you think is the most appropriate given the circumstances in your particular school? And that has been helpful. Anchoring to the agenda before, it's easier for me. I have been writing my topics down on paper and pen because I'm a paper pen gal. But having those daily check-ins with the school teams and sharing those resources and agenda topic ideas have been helpful as well. And I would say another thing and then I'll conclude with this, is our district leadership team. What I did, I was very mindful of pulling together who is on the DLT team and embedding it in an already mandatory meeting as it relates to behavior. And it's our way of, because of this problem, this is our answer. And then having principal leaders being involved and then allowing school teams an opportunity to share out their wins, it helps build momentum because their boss is their boss and their boss's boss and their boss's boss is listening. And so they're receiving that positive reinforcement. Hopefully that was helpful.
That was very helpful. Thank you so much, Lakia. If you have any questions for Lakia, you could pop those in the chat if you'd like. Something that she said that triggered some other idea, you're welcome to share. And Lakia, you can stay as long as you're available. We're going to have Dr. Bacote share before we do our showcase. So we thank you, though, for taking the time and sharing your experiences with us.
No worries, you're welcome.
Hey, Dr. Bacote.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. As I said earlier, I'm the Dean of Student Leadership here at Dutchman Creek Middle School. And of course, we were a part of Cohort 1. We actually ended up being the only school in our district who was a part of the cohort. Our district was a Leader in Me district. So introduced the MTSS-B with some of those initiatives. I like what was said earlier. We had to look at what already existed. And that was the lens that I had to approach things because Leader in Me was mandated for our entire district. So to be the lone school to, start implementing MTSS-B in conjunction with Leader in Me, that was a challenge in itself. So we looked at what we had already. As far as hijacking kind of standing meetings and we have PLCs and all of the things, but what was very powerful for us was to add a lot of the modules into our newsletters. But a part of my role is classroom environment, and so I was able to implement a lot of the strategies when I was supporting teachers in their classroom environment. So when you kind of look at what your needs were, so that was a priority. So that's how we use BAS in our building. So while teachers were learning Leader in Me, I worked with them to do that. We did a series of self-paced PDs with the tier one interventions. And so for the beginning of this school year, I don't know if you can see it, but oh, I got my screen blurred. But anyway, I made a quick guide for teachers. So like the top 5 behavior shaping needs in the classroom. And so teachers can kind of, use that as a quick resource because what we noticed is for a lot of them, it was hard to manage behaviors and continue a great cadence for instruction. So we highlighted moving and scanning, prompts and corrects, acknowledgments, actively engaging students, and clear and precise language. That was also a part of their self-paced PD. And what we allowed teachers to do was to actually go in and observe each other. The teachers identified one of these areas that they wanted to focus in on. So we kind of made it a living experience basically for teachers. And they were able to give feedback. So they did like a 5-day focus on a particular strategy. And then they had a peer to come in and observe them and give them some feedback on how well. One of the positives, I remember a teacher saying her goal was clear and precise language. What she realized is that she would kind of go on and on and on, after a behavior had happened in the classroom. Before you knew it, class was over. So in trying to do those things in conjunction, like I said, with Leader in Me, I had to look at what was actionable, for teachers. And being the only school to do it, I didn't really have someone in the district that I could talk with. So that was kind of how we did that. Our district is big on standard operating procedures. So BAS was really good at identifying some clear things for teachers to do in their space. So for me, trying to get it all done, I had to go a different angle because there was no way to supersede what teachers were being asked to do with Leader in Me and as a entire district. So I had to look at what was going to work best for um, the teachers in our building. But I think that was it for the most part. We've gone through a lot of changes, as was mentioned by our other guest panelists, superintendent, the whole 9 yards. We have a new discipline matrix. So trying to implement something and then, you get it started and then something new happens. So I just really tried to look at what was purposeful, be very intentional about my school building, regardless of what the outside. So I hope that makes sense.
It certainly does. Thank you so much for sharing and giving us your insights and experiences that you've had. Again, if anybody has any questions for either of our presenters from Cohort 1, please pop those in the chat. So in summary, we gave you I gave you some resources and some ideas for planning your redelivery part of the development of your MTSS-B. And we wanted to highlight that those resources, the team workbooks and the slide decks are in your Google folders. So access those. And we look forward to seeing how your plans evolve at your pace, given your context. So thank you again to our presenters. I don't think I see any questions, so I think we'll go on, but thank you for sharing, Lakia and Dr. McCoat.